The lights in Sallyface's apartment were dim, softened by the string of orange bulbs wrapped around the curtain rod, muffled by music that was played from a half-broken speaker, just loud enough to fill the silence. You were sitting on his bed, legs crisscrossed, idly flipping through one of his worn comic books while he rummaged through a drawer. Looking for something. You think it was a charger. "I swear I just had it," he mumbled more to himself than you. "You live in a constant state of disarray, Face," you giggled, smirking. Sal glanced over his shoulder, his hair falling in front of his mask. "You like it, don't pretend you don't," he shot back. You raised an eyebrow. "You're not wrong." He finally gave up and turned back around to you, walking over with slow, deliberate steps. "I'll find it later," he said, sitting beside you on the bed, close enough that his thigh brushed against yours. That comic fell shut in your lap. There was a static of electricity between you and Sal, ever since you'd gotten close. Really close. It hovered in the air like static, always threatening to spark, and tonight it felt particularly heavy. "Are you tired?" he asked, his voice lower and more careful. Not really." "Good," he shot back. You tilted your head. "Why?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, his gloved hand reached up, fingers grazing your jaw. Even after all this time, he was still cautious. Like touching you was a privilege, like he hadn't fully earned it yet. But you leaned into his hand, and something shifted in his eye. That blue was so intense and stormy. "I've been thinking about you," he murmured. "You always think about me," you giggled back. "Not like this." His voice dipped on the last word. You swallowed hard, pulse beginning to quicken. The air seemed to grow thicker and warmer. As her pulse began to quicken more, body reacted to the tone of his voice, the pressure of his fingers, the heat that radiated off him despite the cool metal of his mask. "Take it off," he whispered, fingers ghosting over the side of his jaw. "I want to see you." His breath hitched. Sal didn't take the mask off very often. I mean, he'd shown you before, intimately, in moments where he was sure you wouldn't flinch, and you never did. You thought he was beautiful in ways he couldn't even fathom. The frugality that he carried, the strength beneath it all lived in that face. He nodded slowly, then reached up and undid the strap. The mask slid off and he set it gently on the bedside table. His face, real face, showed, scars and all, just met your eyes. And there was no fear this time, just trust. The kind that left you breathless. "You always look at me like that," he said, voice quiet. "Like what?" you asked. "Like I'm not broken." You leaned forward, brushing your lips over his. "Maybe because you're not." The kiss started slow, exploratory. Sal moved carefully, as if memorizing every angle of your mouth. You deepened it, hands sliding beneath your shirt, fingertips grazing the back of him. He hissed at the contact, and something in him snapped, gently, irreversibly. He pushed you back onto the bed, mouth pressing harder now, more certain. You let him lead, letting your legs fall open as he settled between them. His weight felt right, comforting. "You okay?" he asked, against her neck. "Better than okay." Sal chuckled softly, lips coasting over your skin. "Good." His hands explored your sides, your stomach teasing touches that sent sparks down your spine. You arched up into him, craving more. He rewarded you with slow kisses trailing down your throat, and then back up again. When he bit gently at your jaw, you gasped. "I want to take my time with you," he murmured. You always do, you teased back, breathless. His grin was crooked and mischievous. And you love it, he shot back. You couldn't deny it. Sal's fingers soon found the hem of your shirt, and with a nod he peeled it off of you slowly, eyes drinking in the sight of you. Like you were scared. You shivered under his gaze. But not from cold, more from how reverent he made you feel. He kissed your chest, every press of his lips felt like drawing a sound from you. Your hands tangled in his hair, tugging gently, leading him closer, and he responded instantly. It was slow, like every brush of his hand and every kiss on your skin built you both up, like a crescendo. The air was thick, and your bodies pressed together, your mouth mingling in the teeny tiny space between you. Sal moved with intention, watching your reactions, learning what made you squirm. Tell me what you want, he asked against her skin. You breathed out. Just you. Then you got me, he responded after a moment. There was a hint, a halfway silence of just nothing. Nothing else mattered, just his mouth on your skin, your hand in his hair, and the rhythm that you both had found together. It wasn't just about desire, it was about connection, raw and unfiltered. The waves crested and it left you both breathless and clinging to each other, like the world might just split in half if you let go. Sal had buried his face in the crook of your neck, body shaking slightly. You held him close, fingers running through his hair and grounding him. Neither of you spoke a word, but you could still feel his heartbeat against yours. Eventually he whispered, "You're the only one who makes me feel like this." He smiled, lips brushing against his temple. Like, what? Real. You kissed him again, slow and grounding. You are, he responded. He smiled against her mouth, and in that quiet little apartment, beneath an orange glow of broken fairy lights and static between you, finally settled into something warm, something that felt like home. And soon the next morning arrived, like it didn't want to wake either of you too suddenly. The sun leaked through the curtain blinds in thin golden stripes, brushing over tangled sheets in the soft rise and fall of Sal's chest. You laid beside him, your body warm beneath a worn blanket, your fingers lazily tracing circles over his bare shoulder. His hair had come a bit loose up from its tie at some point during the night, and it fanned out around his face like a curtain of blue silk. He was still sleeping, his breath even and quiet without a mask. He looked so peaceful, so vulnerable in a way that few ever really got to see and made your heart ache and swell at the same time. You didn't want to move. Not yet. The event of last night still lived in your body, tender, electric, and grounding. But the feeling that stayed with you most wasn't the heat, it was the way he held you after. Arms around your waist like a lifetime, lips pressing against your shoulder until sleep had slowly pulled you both under. He stirred after a while, eyelashes fluttering before his eyes opened, hazy from the rest. "Hey," he whispered. Sal blinked at you, then smiled softly. "Hey." You kissed his forehead gently. You sleep okay?" "With you here." He reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind your ear. "Yeah, I did." There was something unspoken in his gaze, gratitude maybe, or maybe disbelief that any of this was even real. You didn't rush to fill the silence, you just laid there, wrapped in each other in this sort of quiet peace. Until the sound of the neighbor's dog barking snapped you both out of your haze. Sal groaned and flopped back onto the bed. "Thank God that dog on a hair trigger." You chuckled. "Come on, it's probably just hungry." "So am I," he muttered, then turned to you with a smirk. "You want waffles?" Are they good ones or sketchy off-brand ones that hit the drywall?" you asked. His expression was pure mock offense. I'll have you know, those are surprisingly budget-friendly and very good. You laughed, letting him pull you out of the bed, and the blanket fell from your shoulders, but Sal quickly draped back on you before tugging his hoodie and tugging it on. He glanced around for his mask and hesitated, and didn't reach for it. That choice made your chest tighten. I trust you, he said quietly, almost as if he had read your thoughts. I know, you replied just softly. The next few days passed like a gentle current, steady and soothing, like neither of you wanted to leave Sal's apartment much. You didn't really have to be honest. Not right now, at least. It became a sanctuary of comfort, lazy mornings curled up on the couch and old horror movies playing in the background, Sal sketching in his notebook when you read or played with his cat, who, by the way, had absolutely claimed you now. There was something so beautifully domestic about it all. So safe, and you found yourself loving it. You hoped you could just love it forever.